Hey all, it's Jess from Sunflower Dairy, and I'm out here in front of the garden today. It's time to give you all a garden tour again. So if you're new here, we're zone 5B, 6A. We try to do a garden tour every week to show you what we're harvesting, what we're planting, what's growing in the garden, and all of that. So today I'm going to be giving you all a garden tour, but also I have a ton of stuff to harvest. And I'm not only going to be taking this with me, I'm going to be taking this, and this. By the looks of all this, you can see that I actually have tons to harvest because all of these are literally going to be pretty much full by the time we're done harvesting today. Alright, let's go do a garden tour. Alright, first thing I'm going to start harvesting in the garden is string beans. So the string beans are literally going like crazy. So over here, these are called Old Homestead pole beans, which these are a green basic string bean, but they're growing like crazy over here. Alright, so those, and then there's some purple string beans over here we got to grab. There's lots of purple string beans over here too. Also, it seems like when you harvest all your string beans, you look again and there's like half a dozen more, so you really gotta hunt and look for all those string beans. Especially if you want your plant to keep producing, because the more you harvest and the more you produce off your vines, the more they're going to keep producing for you. And if you don't harvest and you let your string beans get too big, then your vines are going to start slowing down, and once they start going to seed, then they're going to say, well, I achieved my goal as a plant in life, so I'm gonna stop producing. Alright, pretty good bundle of purple beans. Alright, so over here in this garden bed, as you can see, all these rutabaga leaves. I have rutabagas over here. And these rutabagas actually reseeded from last year, so I didn't plant any of these, but a lot of them are super huge and need to be harvested, so I'm going to be harvesting a few of these. Now, these are pretty big, and you can use rutabagas just like you would a baked potato. So you cook it up, you can put sour cream and butter and cheese on it, and it kind of tastes like a potato. So that's kind of what I'm going to be using these for. Check that out. Let's see if I can get one or two more to go with this one for dinner. Whew, I just found a really big one. Oh goodness, I don't know if I can pull this out. Oh my goodness. That is huge! Okay, first rutabaga we harvested, second rutabaga. Oh my goodness, look at that thing. Look at the size of it compared to my face. That is a big rutabaga. Alright, obviously I don't need to harvest any more rutabagas right now because that's going to be a lot of food. Alright, so over here in the kitchen garden, we have these crazy rutabagas harvested. We have a bunch of string beans in here. Let's head over to the production garden and harvest some tomatoes. Alright, over here in the production garden there is tons of cherry tomatoes over here, so it looks like I have lots and lots of harvesting to do, so here we go. Check out these yellow pear tomatoes. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, what do you do with all of those cherry tomatoes? So, you know, of course, fresh eating, but you can also dehydrate them, and you can soak them in oil. And a lot of people, they'll kind of use them like sun-dried tomatoes in oil, so that's one way to use them. Or I like to use them on pizza, or you know, any special things like that I like to top with tomatoes. There is a lot of these pear tomatoes in here. I was hoping to get out and harvest a bunch of these the day before yesterday, because we just had a huge rainstorm come through, and a lot of times rainstorms, you want to harvest before rainstorm, because rainstorms usually will crack your tomatoes, which will start making your tomatoes rot faster. So harvesting before you get a rainstorm is ideal for tomato harvest. Oh goodness, look at that. That must have been a fused flower. Just handfuls and handfuls of tomatoes. Alright, so here is another tomato variety, and this is called a white currant cherry tomato. So these aren't an actual white currant berry. They are called a white currant tomato because they kind of look like white currants, but they are actually a tomato. But these have a really nice light flavor. You know, they're not strong like a red tomato would be, so these are a really nice tomato. And here's another tomato variety. So these, if you can see, they slightly have blue shoulders on them. And these are called blue bumblebee cherry tomatoes. So those are pretty cool. They have a little bit of that blue shoulder, and they're a nice light tomato. Alright, so here is another cherry tomato. As you can see, these are very tiny. And I will show you a regular average size cherry tomato, just like, you know, you would see on a daily basis. So basic cherry tomato, and then these. See that size difference? Alright, so these are called a teaspoon tomato. Look how tiny they are. They almost look like little red berries. They're so small, but these are indeed a tomato. But just check out that size difference. It's so crazy, the size of these. Goodness, our basket is getting pretty full of cherry tomatoes. Alright, let's go harvest a few more things. Alright, all, I don't know if you can hear that crazy thunder in the background, but we just had a huge rainstorm come through. But I wanted to show you all the cut flowers, because I know you all have been kind of watching these grow from little tiny seedlings to this massive cut flower garden. So I'm going to go ahead and actually harvest some flowers. So when you harvest cut flowers, you want to take off the leaves, because you don't want any leaves in the water, because then your flowers will go bad quicker. just grabbing a few sunflowers. I also have a few zinnias down here that I'm going to grab too. So zinnias, you want to do is called the wiggle test. So you're going to wiggle them, and if they're all wiggly like that, you don't want them. This one, see, that one's not wiggling. We want this one. Now, I'm sure you all are like, wow, you're cutting off so much of the plant. But actually, with zinnias, it's called pinching. If you pinch or cut into the middle of the plant, then that's going to make the plant want to grow more or bush out more and grow more branches, more flowers, and longer stems for you. So, don't worry about that. You just want to make sure that you leave growth points on your plant. Alright, I'm not going to do a great big huge bouquet today. I just want a couple cut flowers to put on the table. There we go. So I just want to show you all one more thing in the cut flower garden. Check out this black sunflower. This is literally black. That is so cool. How beautiful. Alright, well, some of these cabbages, they are starting to split after some of the rain we've been getting after having a drought for so long. Just getting that rain just made quite a few of these split. So I have to harvest a couple of these and get some sauerkraut made. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest some cabbages. Cabbages. Goodness, there is lots of sauerkraut in the future. Alright, lots of cabbages over here. Alright, over here in the in-ground garden, lots of squash to harvest. So I'm going to go ahead and start harvesting a bunch of squash over here. So first off, I'm going to be harvesting a round zucchini down here. Now zucchinis grow super fast, so this is a little bigger than I would like, but not horrible. But round zucchini for the first squash. Alright, so this whole squash area here, there's quite a few white patty pan squashes, there's some yellow squash, and then there's some round zucchinis. White patty pan or white scallop squash. And another round zucchini. Right, so down here, this is a bigger kind of white scallop squash. Check that beauty out. Right, lots more scallop squash down and through here. Alright, harvesting a yellow scallop squash down here. Oh goodness, this zucchini behind me is huge. Alright, so this is a striped zucchini. Striped zucchinis have more of a nutty taste, but this is a little bigger than I would like. It's not massive, but usually you keep them a little bit smaller than this. But this is not a super massive one. It's still, you know, it's not solid like a pumpkin yet, so this should still be edible even if we just use it for zucchini bread. Just so you all know, this basket's getting very heavy. Here's another white scallop squash. If you thought we were done harvesting, nope, we still have more squash to harvest. Goodness, my basket of squash overflowing. Alright, all. One last thing to harvest in the squash area. Here is the Tromboncino squashes, or trombone squash. Alright, so as you can see, the name for a trombone or trumpet squash, it's in the shape of a trumpet. So it curves like a trumpet, just looks like a trumpet. So you can use these like a zucchini, and they're just a really fun squash. If you put this on a trellis, then they could grow straight up and down, but they usually curve when they're on the ground like this, but pretty cool squash. Also, check all of these squash out. Okay, all, over here at the mini tunnel, as you can see, it's overflowing of melon vines. And I'm going to climb in here and see if I can find any nice watermelons to show you. Okay, y'all, it's officially a jungle in here. And I can barely get in here anymore because it's just so crazy with vines. But, everywhere that I step, I keep feeling watermelons with my feet. So let's see if we can actually find something. Also, it is super warm in here, so the outer layer sweater had to come off because it's like, I don't know, 120 degrees in here, and it is so humid, so I am like sweating to death. But lots of watermelons. Alright, are you all ready for this? Holy moly. Wow, it just keeps going. Oh my goodness, that is a big watermelon. Wow. Okay, the trindle still looks green on here. So how you know when a watermelon is brown is this usually turns brown in through this area, and this is still pretty green. So still growing. Man, that is a big watermelon. Alright, I found another kind of watermelon. This is a round one. So that's a pretty good sized one too. And look what I found. These are little chrysanthemum melons. And there's this one, there's this one, there's this one, there's another one over here. And look at this! Kajari melon! Oh man! Kajari melon. I am so excited for that. And there's another one. Oh yes! Mini greenhouse. Super success. I am so excited. My goodness, it is so humid in there. But this little greenhouse is doing its job because, as you can see, all of those melons are growing like crazy in there. And I'm so blown away by how well this is doing. And I'm gonna say, if you have a hard time growing watermelons or any kind of melons in your area, try doing this. It's just a couple cattle panels, a couple 2x4s, and then we put some greenhouse fabric on. If you're kind of wondering about greenhouse plastic, so it's just a basic greenhouse plastic. Like, you'll look up like, you know, greenhouse plastic and it'll come up like, you know, greenhouse poly plastic or something like that. But yeah, 2x4s, cattle panels, greenhouse plastic, a door, you're good to go. You can grow some melons. Alright, we're over here at the big greenhouse high tunnel. Let's check out what's growing in the raised garden bed. Alright, so there's quite a bit growing in here. Lots of eggplants growing. Can you see those? Lots of eggplants on these plants. And then there's quite a few green tomatoes growing in here. And quite a few peppers. So I think there might be a couple peppers to harvest. Alright, so it looks like we do have a pepper. Look at that. It's a nice frying pepper. We'll fry that up in the skillet tonight. A great dipping thing for fried peppers is sour cream, lime juice, salt and pepper. It's so good. Alright, I'll just check out all of this harvest from today. So we have these 2 cabbages, these rutabagas, we have all this squash, some cut flowers, string beans, tons of cherry tomatoes in here, some peppers. So as you all can see, the garden is producing like crazy. Thank you all for coming on this garden tour. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.